Blended Podcasts. Brought to you by Blended Audio.
Hello and welcome to Centre Stage, the South African Film and Theatre podcast. My name is Alistair King-Daniels, and with me as always
is Peter Bates, and today we are very happy to be joined by the very talented
Faeron Wheeler.
Hello, Faeron.
Hello.
I can't say, I don't know why, I can't say your name. It's a really cool name though.
Thank you.
Faeron.
Faeron.
Okay.
Yes, as in fun fair on.
Faeron. Okay.
All right. Faeron.
Yes.
Who are you?
That's a loaded question.
Perfect.
I am... Okay, the marketing answer. Cape Town writer, actor, and producer.
Another deeper answer?
The deeper answer. Crazy cat lady. I am somebody who has grown up very passionate about the stage and blame my parents entirely for that. Well, my mother put me on stage at 3.
So it's all fault.
And then they gave me a stage name when I was born. So, you know, what was I supposed to do?
No escape from that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the choices were, you know, stripper or actor. So
You chose the latter.
yeah, of the two, I think my parents are more happy with the actor.
Probably, yeah.
Although stripper probably makes more money.
Was acting your first love, or did you like writing first or whatever?
Oh, definitely acting. I love being on the stage. It's one of those things I enjoy, playing other characters. Writing came from that because I enjoy telling stories, and it just kind of grew together. But it definitely came from being on stage first.
Yeah, I resonate with the idea of, I love playing characters. Like, I like getting a character and then making it my own, but also becoming someone completely different. It's such a fun act.
Yeah, it's empowering, isn't it? It's like, you know, being able to, it's very empowering. And it's interesting, I think, you know, it's interesting to say that the writing came out of that, because I think to a certain extent the acting doesn't satisfy. It's like that you said, it's that you want to tell a story.
Yeah.
Okay, and, you know, you got to write your own story, right?
Yeah. In a way, I mean, I find the writing a deeply personal experience because you are drawing from your own experiences in your own life, and you've got to then create these characters from yourself.
Yes.
So I find it's a very thorough experience when you write a character and then you get to play that character as well, and that kind of threads through is fun and terrifying.
Okay, do you think characters written by a character played by the actor that wrote it, do you think those characters are more powerful? Do you think there's...
If they are directed properly.
Yes. Okay.
That's
Director.
Because I have seen so many shows where the writer has then directed as well, and it's and then they're acting in it as well, and there's just that, you need that third eye. Theatre can't be made in a vacuum. It's got to be made by a group. It's a team effort. I mean, you've got to bring your own stuff to your own character and your own work, but at the same time, you need that outside eye.
You need like a sense of objectivity from your own thoughts.
Yeah, exactly. You're right, yeah. I think that's where we fell down, I think, in our last little production.
Productions.
Yeah.
There's always, there's something to be gained by having just someone look at it and tell you that actually doesn't work.
Yes.
Because otherwise you go on stage and then...
Yes, it becomes a little self-indulgent. It's always nice to have a external eye just to say, okay, you're actually not funny. It hurts, but it's...
Actually stop.
Yeah, it hurts, but it's good for you in the long run.
Yeah, of course.
Sticking to writing, you were saying something about writing is a very personal thing, and to a lot of people it is.
Yes.
But I was just wondering, so is everything you've written and what you write coming from you, or have you ever written about something that you haven't maybe experienced before?
Oh no, I've definitely written about stuff I haven't experienced before, but in order to get the truthfulness into the character, I try and base them on either someone I know or things within myself, so that the characters are based in a reality, even if the reality is nothing I've ever experienced. You've kind of got to put yourself into that situation and say, okay, how would a normal human being react to this kind of thing? Because I find, for me personally, it's the truthfulness of the character is what makes something an interesting story.
And when you say the truthfulness, you mean true to a real person?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
That's fascinating. So, sorry.
Even in a comedy, which is completely ridiculous, you know, if you've got to, I did a Neil Simon farce once. I mean, you've got characters crawling across the floor behind couches, and my character was the one that was Rumors, and I played the character with the giant crystal who believes in crystal therapy and all of that. And there's a point where my crystal gets dropped down the toilet and I come out crying and I'm panicking and I'm shrieking, and
you got to find the truth.
You still got to find the reality of the character and the situation in order for it to be funny and interesting to the audience.
So it's like an ordinary person in an extraordinary situation.
Yes.
Okay, that's fascinating.
So what have you been a part of recently? What have you written recently?
Okay, well, this year has been a big year for me. It was the very first time I took something from concept to stage. I've written a lot of stuff, but it's never really been
seen the light of day.
Yeah. So I wrote this year with a friend of mine, Erica Maria. We wrote a show called Your Perfect Life. And we took it to Makanda, the National Arts Festival. And, well, we won a Standard Bank Ovation Award.
Oh, well done.
Thank you.
I was just about to ask, how did it go?
Very well. And the story, this one was incredibly personal because the story was based on our lives, the two of us. And we wrote it and we acted in it, and we got a friend of ours to direct it. And it was very much based on the societal expectations on women. How we're supposed to have a career and have a family, and there's something wrong with us if we haven't. And, you know, as women reaching our late 30s, suddenly people are walking around going, oh, you know, if you haven't had kids, you know, things have obviously gone a bit wrong in your life. And we started the whole idea because Erica and I have had such different lives. She had to get married very young because shortly after high school, she did fall pregnant and had her kids. And I have gone the complete opposite route and am, late 30s, single, and quite happily enjoying my career. And we just looked at how we can be friends, but the world judges us for not having a career and not having a family. And we kind of look at the women who have both, and we kind of don't know how they do it. Don't know how there's time for that, but they do it. And then the world judges them for doing both as well, because you're not spending enough time with your family, but you're not focusing on your career. And there's just some very bizarre expectations on women that we just wanted to deal with. And we wanted to have a look at this whole concept of how we look at other people's lives and think they're perfect. And that was just kind of... So it came, like I said, this one came from a very truthful place.
Yeah. I was going to say, hearing you speak about it, you're obviously very passionate about it, which if someone's passionate about something they do, like a work they make, then like it's always just that much better. So it was a good one for your fledgling,
yes,
your first ever concept to stage one.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah, we decided to go the completely personal route and go down that path, and thought,
screw it, let's do it.
Yeah, pretty much. How hard can it be?
It's quite a scary thing. I mean, there's a lot of like vulnerability in that as well.
Yeah.
How do you craft a character that is based on your life but who isn't you?
Yes.
How do you do that? Like what?
Well, so in the story, that was my first thing I said to Erica is, let's create something in there for each character that isn't us personally. and we'll find a way so that when we step into character, we've got these little tells that we can immediately click in and say, okay, this is the character, this is not us anymore. And having our outside director come in and be part of the workshopping process with the script also helped a big deal, because she kept pushing us and saying, why don't we try this? Why don't we try this? What if this character's thinking this? What if this character's thinking this?
Yeah.
And it just gave us enough that wasn't us. But
otherwise it'll be like too...
Yeah.
Like, I find it would be very difficult to probably actually put on the thing. Because like you can write a play or something about like with yourself in mind, but like you say, you got to put something in there. Because otherwise, then you're going to be like, no, this is too much of me. I don't want to.
You're too close to it.
Yes.
I don't want to put it on the stage now.
Yeah.
So that was a good call.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was kind of nice. I could stand as I got into my costume. It was all my own clothes, but it wasn't stuff that I would wear necessarily together or to that event. And it was just nice. I could kind of get into Caitlin as opposed to being me on stage.
Yes. It's interesting to hear you speak about this. We speak to people and they say, "Yeah, no, if only I had a script," but the script is just words on a page. It's theatre is way, way, way more than just that.
Yeah,
it's to do with everything else and all the thinking that goes behind it and all the work that goes behind it too. Mm-hmm. So it's always fascinating to be reminded of that actually it's more than just a couple of words on a page. It's a creation of the mind as well.
Yeah. And then every time you add a new person into the process,
yes,
it takes on a different life. So, I mean, I could perform this now with somebody other than Erica and it would be a completely different beast because they would bring something else to the different character.
Yes. Even though it's the same sort of script.
Yeah.
I think, what Peter's saying, people put a lot of importance on the script, and it is important.
Yes,
but, there's so many other factors.
Yeah. Good script helps.
Yeah, it does. I mean, you have to have something to say when you're standing up there, let's be honest.
Yeah, no, sometimes there's just nothing you can do about a terrible script, though. Not even the best actors in the world can do something with a bad script.
I just watched a terrible movie yesterday, Speaking of terrible scripts. Yeah. Anyway, that's sidetracking.
I mean, I'm sure we've all been there. We've just looked at something and been like, this needs to go into the bin.
Yes.
This needs to not be.
And so now you have to select the thing that makes it, right? So that's what you did. It's great.
So you went to Makanda.
Yes.
What was that like? Going, okay, we're taking this and all our set and stuff, and we're going to go to a place and we don't quite know, because they don't they tell you, oh, you're going to be in this venue, but you're like, okay, where is that? And how big is it? And
Okay, well, you do have all the dimensions.
Okay.
You are given all of that stuff. So all of the different venues have seating capacity, sizing, stage, lighting capabilities, whether or not there's a backstage, things like that. So they'll tell you all of that information. You don't necessarily get the venue you want, which is also fun. So last year, I took 2 shows up. I didn't perform in them, but my production company took them up, and I went up as stage manager and assistant and all of that. And both shows performed in one venue, which was lovely because we could double up on the marketing and kind of punt everything in one venue. And so this year when we took the show up, I specifically asked for that venue again. And I said in my proposal, I said, we'd been in this venue last year. We've actually based our script kind of with that venue in mind. So this is why we would like this venue again. And thankfully they complied and said, yes, you may have this venue again.
Thank you.
Because, like you said, last year when we went up with 2 shows, the one actor had been there. David Muller had done a few productions there, and he suggested this venue because he knew it. And he'd seen the other show, which was Erica's one-woman show, Jam Every Other Day. And he could at least say to us, yes, this show will fit in here. Yes, this show will work here. And so we at least had that. But it was pretty terrifying going up there last year with all the set and everything in the car and kind of arriving and going, okay. Because the most exciting part is you get about 40 minutes to set up before your show. And then you've got 20 minutes after your show to take everything down and get out of there so the next group can get in and do their 40-minute setup and get ready. And
Yeah, it's like
stack 'em and rack 'em.
Yes. So you performed at Makanda, and
Yeah.
that was great. How many times? Like, did you have a long run, or
We opted for 5 performances. So some shows will do the full 2 weeks or week and a half.
just hectic?
Yeah. So we said, let's just do 5 performances. Again, because we hadn't actually performed the show ever when we went up there. We'd done we'd done one preview. And that was friends and family, basically. So, obviously they were going to be nice.
It's perfect.
Yeah. So we did, one preview. I think we left on the Wednesday and we did the preview on the Sunday. And then we were performing the following Sunday. So there was very little time to actually do anything about it, even if they came and said, well, maybe you should change this, So we were... The first performance in Grahamstown Makanda, sorry. Last year was great fun. We went to sleep in Grahamstown, woke up in Makanda. Like, wait, what happened? So the very first performance there was really terrifying. So I thought, this is the first time we're going to have an audience that doesn't know us. And we don't know what they're going to say.
But those are the best audiences, I find. Like, if you don't know who they are, like, you can stuff up, it's fine. They can see you on the street.
On the one hand, yes, that's great, because you don't have to look at them afterwards.
You don't have to look them in the face.
But on the other hand, we're like, wow, this is actually going to be complete strangers judging our lives.
Oh, yeah, because it's
judging a play about judging people.
Oh, wow, that's even
So we're like, okay, are these people actually going to take our message on board? And they did. It was amazing. It was really amazing.
That's good.
We were very worried that because it was so female-focused, that people were, males weren't going to understand, or it was very specific because it's set in a 20-year high school reunion. Are younger people going to get it? Are people much older? Are we just being very self-indulgent? But thankfully, everyone just said they got it. There was something in it, and everyone kind of came up to us and spoke about something different. Different elements resonated with them, which was really, really lovely.
There's something to be said about underestimating your audience. I've done that a few times before, where I'm writing, and to me, I write something that seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
And that makes sense in the context of everything. But then I second guess myself. I'm like, must I make it more obvious for them?
Yeah.
Must I do this? And then I go back and then Peter's a few times told me, no, they'll get it.
I don't know what you mean.
They'll understand.
Yeah.
You see, that's the other beautiful thing about theatre, is that once it's performed and once you have the audience's participation, I mean, they're an integral part of the process.
Yes, yeah.
Because it's their interpretation of what's going on as well that really adds into it.
Oh, definitely.
So it's fascinating that you say you had different people telling you different things that they noticed.
Yeah.
That's really cool. It's like those... we have a shared heritage as people. I think no matter how disconnected we are, there's a common, we're all scared or we're all happy. We all got these things.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating you should explore that in a framework. And sorry, I'm going a little on a tangent now, but kind of like tapping into that and showing another person that you feel the same way that they do. It's just that your situation is different. And then they can ask themselves about that situation and say, hang on a second. That's fascinating. That's really, really powerful.
Yeah. No, I mean, this play has been... It's been a hell of a journey for all of us, I think, the 3 women that are most involved in it, because we've all had to look at our own lives in order to get truth into the performance. And
Dissect your life.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And it's been really amazing having people come to us and go, well, my life is completely different. However, I recognize you and I understand you, and that resonated. And we had one audience that was full of school kids. And we've got these 15, 16-year-olds. And I'm like, they don't understand the real world. To them,
they haven't lived.
Yeah, their 20-year high school reunion is so far in the future. They don't understand this. And yet they did, because we were bringing back our school memories and things. And they're like, oh, yeah, we're actually living that right now. And then a couple of them were kind of said, we get it, because the choices you make now will impact the rest of your life. It doesn't mean that this is the course your life has to take, because we had these two characters that made choices when they were in their university years that then affected them for the rest of their lives. They put them on the trajectories that they were on. And with these youngsters, these teenagers, they're like, wow, okay, so the choices I do make now will have a massive impact on the rest of my life. And I'm like, yeah, sorry.
It's also
just by the way, the greatest lie of grown-uphood is nobody has their shit together.
So I get the feeling from you that theatre and film, okay, maybe not a feeling from you, but like, what would you say to the idea that theatre or like art has to have like a purpose? It has to say something about the world. It has to do something.
I think art has different purposes. It depends what you want to do. I think the stuff that's probably going to live with the viewer longer is the stuff that holds a mirror up to society in some way. However, there is nothing wrong with making art just purely to entertain. Because some of my favorite shows that I've been in or watched have been comedies, which don't necessarily hold up a mirror to society. They're just fun. And they live with you because they've lightened you. And I think when you do something, each piece that you do, you should go in with an intention. Whether or not you live up to that intention actually depends on the viewer, not you. Obviously, how well you do it will put that intention into the viewer, or it will open up that possibility that is what the viewer will take away from the piece. I don't know if I'm making any sense at all right now. I feel like I'm rambling. But basically, I always feel like when I make something or do something, I go in with an intention. The viewer can take away what they take away from it. If we match up my intention with what they take away from it, I feel like I've done well. If they take more than that away from it, then I've done very well. But I don't know if I can take the credit for it because I think they've done some of the work as well as the viewer.
Yeah. So, our last question.
Yes.
The future.
Uh-huh.
What's in the future for your show? Anything else you're doing? You?
Okay, so I'll take you back a little bit. In 2017, I started my company F Creations. And the idea with that was to create new work and just to be a little independent space for interesting work and creating new work and just collaborating with people. And I feel like it took me a couple of years, but we're starting to hit our stride now. And Your Perfect Life was definitely, it's now, this is where I want to be. This is the kind of work I want to be doing. And I'm very excited that I've actually I've got this platform now to do it. So the show definitely still has legs in it. We're looking at applying again to National Arts Festival next year. We have the possibility of taking it to Hong Kong this time next year.
International.
I know. Have show will travel. And because Erica, my co-star and co-writer, actually lives in Hong Kong. Oh. And she has a connection there who does this program called the SA Hong Kong Theatre Exchange. And because there's a big expat community over there, South Africans, people from the UK, things like that. And she brings South African shows to Hong Kong, and they have a fairly good following. So she heard about our show, and she's quite excited to take us over there. And we're looking at doing a double bill with the Drama Factory, who's Sue Dipperveen's company. Oh, yes. And she's our director for Your Perfect Life. And then she produced this year Two to Tango, which is a Mike van Kraan piece. And Sue Dipperveen and Paul du Toit starred in that. And we're hoping to take both of those shows and do a double bill of the two of them together in Hong Kong. They both go quite nicely together because they're stories about human beings and the choices we've made in life and where they end up, how we've ended up in these situations. Because the Two to Tango is a couple who their kids are kind of university age, so they're about to get empty nest syndrome, and they're looking at life in South Africa now and job situation and crime situation and all the usual conversations that people are having these days. Also, it's quite a funny but quite a real show. So yeah, we're teaming up quite a bit with Drama Factory because they're also quite a lovely small independent space. If you ever want to go see Somerset West,
yes.
If you ever want to go see shows out there, she has some fantastic work on at a little theatre. Love that space. So National Arts Festival, Hong Kong is a possibility. There's a couple of other festivals we're looking at around South Africa next year. We've applied to go to Darling at Peter Dirk Ace's beautiful little theatre out there. So
hopefully very busy.
Yeah. And then I'm just started producing, Sue Dipperveen is doing a one-woman show called So You Want to Be a Trophy Wife. And she performed it a few years ago, and she's decided she wants to dust that off and rework it a bit. And so I've said I'd produce that for her. So we'll maybe take that to National Arts Festival. So you've kind of caught me at a time where it's the end of the year is creeping up on us, and
thinking about
you got to get all you I got to get your ducks in a row now. So I'm kind of like, okay.
Well, we're going to release you off to go get your ducks in a row. Thank you so much for coming.
It's been wonderful having you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And thank you, audience, for tuning in to Centre Stage. And we shall see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
King Media Productions Centre Stage is a South African film and theatre podcast hosted by Alistair King and Daniels and Peter Bates, and produced with the generous assistance of Blended Podcasts, brought to you by Blended Audio.